Jeremy, row faster. Row harder.
Why am I the only one rowing?
Because you're the rowing guy.
I'm always the rowing guy.
Well, I'm the navigator.
What's the plan again?
Jeremy, we're going to take this replica of a Viking ship that you're rowing by yourself, and we're going to use it to travel back in time to the Viking Age, which is the name of the podcast that we're stealing today.
We're gonna take a boat back in time?
Yes.
How?
Jeremy, you have to row. We have to get to 88 knots per hour.
88 knots per hour? Mike, that's like 101 miles an hour.
Jeremy, that's why you need to row faster. I keep telling you.
All right. You gotta up the tempo, Mike.
Okay, Jeremy, you just need to aim for that whirlpool, and we'll use the centripetal force to send us back in time.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it's like all pelvis you're using.
Oh, my bad.
Yes, you're doing it. Just faster, Jeremy. Jeremy, we're doing it. Jeremy, I can see the giant snake.
I forgot his name.
Jorgen Munder.
Jorgen?
Jorgen.
Who names a snake?
The Snake Man. We'll get into it. Here we go.
Best buddies are talking about whatever they want. They're looking for a show to steal and treasure to haunt. Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast. Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast. They like to get crazy, talk a lot of trash. Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast.
Welcome to Michael and Jeremy Steal Your Podcast. Hey, Jeremy.
Guten Morgen, Mike.
Guten Morgen.
Yep.
Isn't that German?
Whatever.
It's very germane of you.
They're all the same.
Well, I disagree. But, Jeremy, we're here to talk about the Viking Age.
Ooh.
Jeremy, the Viking Age podcast with Lee Accomando.
Comando. Sounds Sicilian.
It's for Jeremy. Who else is going to talk about Vikings other than the Sicilians?
They used to be Rome.
Jeremy, I've learned a lot about Vikings during my research. You know, Vikings were renowned traders. I mean, over 50 civilizations worth of shit we've found in Viking era, like hovels. Hovels?
I thought Vikings
Towns.
were just the raiding party.
Jeremy, they had grand halls, some of the largest structures in medieval Europe at the time.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. I thought there was like the Danish, the Norwegian, and the Scandinavians.
That came later, Jeremy. They eventually evolved into that, but during the Viking Age, you know, they had settlements and stuff, and they would send out raiding parties. And
See, I thought the
and
raiding
trade
party
and-
was like going out to Viking.
But you have a chieftain, right? And then you would send out Viking buddies to go do all the, you know, pillaging and you know, to gather all the stuff from taking over areas and things. They didn't really take over. They just kind of stole a bunch of stuff and left.
I thought
and then took it home.
Isn't Viking just a job? Like when you're raiding, you're a Viking, but when you get back, you're a fisherman for the village.
But the Vikings didn't call themselves Vikings,
right.
You know, that was a term used to describe them after the fact.
They were called Vikings by the terrified people in the churches that they were molested. They
had a lot of weird shit that they believed in, Vikings.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't have multiple episodes to go into, little micro topic, macro topics like Lee does in his show. So we're just going to kind of cover as much as we can.
Okay.
You know, people want to learn about Vikings. What's the real story. People are playing God of War Ragnarok. People are watching the show Vikings.
The Last Kingdom.
The Last Kingdom. America.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yes, that's a Viking thing. You're right, Jeremy.
Terrible game.
Valhalla, funny enough, as we study Norse mythology and information in regards to what happens to you after you die in the Viking times, it only applies to men. So no one's really sure what Vikings believed happened to women because they didn't get to go to Valhalla.
Well, didn't Freya also have like a afterlife place?
There's actually a funny story about Freya, Jeremy. In Norse mythology, Loki got upset with Freya and went around and basically told everyone that she was a huge whore. So he went to all the other gods and goddesses and just kind of told them that Freya was a whore, and she even fucked her own brother, which she totally did.
Well, she was a whore. She was the goddess of fertility and love and sex and stuff.
Yeah, and she did have sex with her own brother, and they made a horrible monstrosity baby. Actually, weird enough, the gods, most of the time, Folkvanger.
That's her like realm of the afterlife. It's like a big field.
Oh. Okay. Maybe that's where the ladies went.
She's also the leader of the Valkyries or whatever.
Is she?
Right? The ladies.
In God of War, she is.
Yeah, the ladies that.
In
on
God
horses.
of War, she is.
Yeah, she's the rule. Like she's the one who. Well, she trains them or just has sex with them or something.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Trust me. I'm gonna teach you how to ride that horse.
Now, as much as I want to lead you to believe that I'm an expert on Norse mythology, I am not. Okay. One meeting, Freya, who's known for having a chariot pulled by cats.
Ugh.
It's weird. Spotted Loki hitting on a girl who clearly wasn't interested in him. Loki wasn't even really welcome there to begin with because he just caused Baldur's death, which is very funny how that happened. So Freya was just completely done with him. She approached Loki, told him to knock it off because that usually ends well. Loki told her to shut up, and when she insisted, he turned on her. He then proceeded to say aloud that Freya had slept with every single god and some non-gods too. He even accused her of sleeping with her own brother, which she totally did. Besides being known for cats, Freya was also known for being kind of a party girl. Some of the other gods defended her, and they proceeded to argue all night while Loki telling the gods they were basically horrible people.
They're not trying to give up that nice piece of ass. Loki, shut up! You're ruining it for everybody.
So I don't know if you know this. So you know the giant serpent that kind of wraps around the world. It's like Jormungandr, or hold on.
The one that Thor killed.
Thor does kill it because that giant snake is supposed to kill Thor during Ragnarok. That's like the whole thing. It's the whole beef that they have a huge beef, right?
And Thor wasn't a very good guy either. Like today we have Marvel Thor and everyone thinks he's really cool and really funny. But Thor really wasn't that good of a guy. Right?
Yeah, no, Thor's just
a bit handsy with the ladies. They kept saying no, he kept saying yes.
A lot of men pushing themselves onto ladies is a very common theme for Vikings. They did a lot of that.
Yep.
As part of rituals, mostly. It was a lot of ritualistic.
Being handsy with women.
Handsy stuff.
And pickling their mentors' heads so they can continue to learn from them.
Yeah, they had a lot of weird ideas about knowledge and how to acquire it.
Sacrificing your organs.
Yeah.
Like an eyeball.
Jormungandr. Jormungandr is the name of the giant snake.
Jormungandr.
No, Jormungandr.
No,
Jormungandr. So giant snake who's actually a son of Loki.
Really?
Yeah, Loki had sex and he birthed 3 beasts, one of which is that giant fucking wolf.
It's a fucking wolf.
The giant fucking wolf.
And, don't make me go get
But where's the fucking wolf?
Don't make me go get my fucking wolf.
That was in God of War Ragnarok, that giant wolf. And that wolf was supposed to eat could have potentially grown big enough to eat the world. And they actually chained the wolf, and I'll tell you the ingredients that they used in order to make that happen because I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, Fenrir. Fenrir is the name of this giant wolf.
Right. Do you think some civilizations are better than others?
Do I think some civilizations are better?
Yeah.
And what you mean, like how we say, is Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone better for your own reason?
Right. For your own reasons.
I mean, there are civilizations that I prefer over others for my own reasons, yes.
Well, because here we are talking about the Viking Age, and they have stories of chaining the wolf, right? Chains, metal.
No, it was a collar, and the collar was crafted from cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of stones, and the breath of a fish, and the spit of a bird.
And they forged that into a chain?
Into a collar in order to trap him.
Footsteps?
Cat's footsteps.
Are you sure it wasn't cat's feet?
Nope, it's cat's footsteps and the breath, the spit of a bird, the beard of a woman, the root of stones, and the breath of a fish.
Birds don't spit.
None of those things are possible, Jeremy. Not one thing that I said is a thing. That's the whole point.
Fish do have breath.
No, I mean, maybe a lungfish.
Yeah. And cats do have footsteps.
The whole point.
But birds don't spit.
No, the sound of a cat's footstep. The cats are silent when they walk. I mean, if you had a high, gain microphone, you can hear the cat's footsteps, but they didn't know that in Viking times.
They were eating mushrooms or something.
Oh, they were doing lots of stuff.
Drugs and sacrifice.
So the whole point is they took all of these impossible things that don't exist in order to form the collar, and that's how they took Fenrir and prevented him from escaping.
But they had metal, right?
Oh, and then
didn't they have sword? Like they had metal, right?
Yeah.
So my thought is, during this time, this is a long time ago, Mike. Well, around what
Yeah.
year are we talking? Like 700?
750 is the kind of beginning. 750 to about 1050 is considered to be the Viking Age.
In order to have metal, they have to know how to smelt, grab ore.
Yes, Jeremy, they could
smelt.
make metal.
So at that point in time, there's other civilizations that, I mean, 1,000 years after this, still don't know how to mine for ore and smelt down and make metal.
So are you asking why they didn't just go ahead and use bird spit and cat's pajamas to make a collar?
Why couldn't the natives of the indigenous Americans figure out how to capture the power of a fish's breath and the silence of cat feet to make swords to take over England? When the colonizers showed up to this land, those people were still hitting each other with rocks. How is it in 700 there were people who learned how to smite in minerals and turn it into metal, but then over here they were still hitting each other with sticks?
We took the breath of a fish and the humbleness of ladies and forged a collar to...
We took a woman who understands accountability and cat's footsteps
and made a collar for a wolf that could eat the world. After they got done chaining the wolf with this collar, as you put it, Tyr, who was another popular icon of the God of War Ragnarok games. That's going to be my biggest connection.
That's where you're getting all your stuff from?
No, God, no.
I've never played it.
But Tyr's hand was bitten off by the wolf, as the wolf wanted a kind of offering for this having happened to him. So the wolf said, the sword hand of somebody... please put it into my mouth and we'll just kind of see what happens. And Tyr was like, I raised you, wolf. Loki's weird child. I raised you. So Tyr put his hand in the wolf's mouth and then the wolf bit his hand off, his sword hand. Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Jeremy.
Is that where it comes from?
I would imagine. Actually, Jeremy, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are all Norse.
It's Thor's Day.
Yeah, Thor's Day. Wednesday is Odin's Day, which I don't know how that works. And Friday is like Fjord's Day or something. Fjords. God of spit. There was a god who was created after the gods won a war. They started chewing on these berries, and then they spit out the berries to ferment them to make alcohol. And then a man was born.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's the smartest, most intelligent man in Norse mythology.
Odin?
No.
Spit Boy.
Spit Boy. Oh, his name was
Kurt.
Kurt. Hey, everybody. It's me. It's me, Kurt.
I'm a fermented boy.
Thanks for making me. I appreciate it. Do you want to know how to do algebra? There's a story about how Thor dressed up to look like a lady, and then Loki dressed up to look like a bridesmaid so Thor could steal his hammer back from this giant that stole it. And so the giant was wanting to marry this person, so Thor just put on a dress and stole his hammer back during the reception, then killed everybody.
Thor is trans.
No, he's a cross-dresser.
Oh, that's the same thing now.
It's not.
Ask Eddie Izzard.
Oh, Jeremy. Oh.
Do you think the bit's as funny now, knowing that he is trans? Because that was a fantastic comedy special. Dressed to Kill.
Yes. Oh my God. So iconic. And
it's very funny.
What I don't understand about it is like he had his explanation, right? He's like, I just like to dress up like a lady. Why is that so bad? Cross dressing's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not a bad thing. And then he comes out and is like, oh, I was like this the whole time. No, you weren't. No, you were very open, and you have always been very honest and open with your audience,
which made everyone love you and accept you.
Right. And now you're doing you're doing something different, like, and you're going back on everything that you said, which also makes me upset. I love Eddie Izzard, right? Huge fan. And then the last special that he did was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the comedy wasn't as great. A little rusty. I don't know if I was more concerned that he was just kind of negating everything that he stood for so many years, especially growing up.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I already accepted you for the thing, and I'm sort of willing to do it again, but like you're throwing me through some hoops.
Really moving that goalpost around, buddy.
And I want to say dude, but it's not dude anymore.
It is a dude, Mike. It's a man.
Well, yeah.
He was very clear about that. I watched Dressed to Kill 100 times. Very clear about the fact that he was a man.
And very brave about dressing as a lady.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh, I wanted to go into Baldur, because that's like the big bad guy, right?
I think there's
God of
trans in
War.
Baldur's Gate, too.
I'm not talking about Baldur's Gate. Welcome to Baldur's Gate. Come on in. Anyway, Baldur from God of War, he's Freya's son, and Freya had put this spell on him.
Receding hairline.
Now, in the game,
because he's Baldur.
Then who? Then what? A stone with roots? Because get it, roots is a hair joke too. Anyway, that was good. Applause.
It's a weird episode when I'm sick. I'm never sick. And
Yeah, you have.
Sick.
This is the first time you've ever been sick in almost the 3 years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
So, anyway, in the game, Freya just made him invincible and invulnerable to everything, and nothing could kill him or hurt him, and that caused a lot of issues with his mental faculties. Right, so he kind of went mad because
he's invincible.
He couldn't feel pain, but he also couldn't feel pleasure. He couldn't feel anything.
He just
wanted to feel,
like the Curse of Cortez in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, right. In his skeletons,
he feels no pain, but he also feels no pleasure. You can't fill his tummy. Always hungry
with rum.
Yeah. Can you imagine always being hungry and thirsty?
Does everything come from Viking culture, Jamie?
It's the curse of the Black Pearl.
Jamie Thursday. But anyway, Jeremy, so the actual story on this is she went to everything, every living thing, every inanimate object, and asked for immunity for her son. So she went to the trees and the animals and the rocks and the stones and the oars and everything.
The hippie bitch.
And she asked for immunity to her son, that they may bless him to not be caused harm from those things. Probably that was a pretty rough afternoon for her.
Yeah, she got around.
And fucked some things along the way, probably.
I asked every single fish in the ocean.
Well, no, you just ask one fish, but then, you could ask another fish, a different species, right?
What if the other fish were pissed? They're like, you don't speak for us, Jeff.
Damn it. So all of the gods would use Balder as a sort of like axe throwing, knife throwing target because they just bounce right off of him. So they would all just have fun. Loki found out that Freya missed one. Mistletoe.
Oh.
Which is funny because the word missile, he took mistletoe and forged it into a spear. And one night, when all the gods are getting drunk and happy and playing the throw knives at Balder game, Loki hands him the spear made of mistletoe. He's like, "Hey, throw this one at him next. We're having fun."
That was a fun game.
And then one of the gods threw the spear at Balder, and it just fucking hit him in the chest and killed him.
Everyone's like, "Wow, what the fuck?"
Yeah. And Freya was not too pleased.
Is that where the word missile comes from?
Jeremy, obviously, Vikings. Everything comes from Vikings.
Oh my God.
That's what we're learning here today. Me, you, everyone who's listening to this.
Reddit told me it was the Jews that were just controlling everything and destroying everything. It's the Vikings, Mike.
That's right.
It's so funny. Have you seen the conspiracies about the Jew haters online?
No.
They call my people the little hats.
The little hats? Oh, because of yarmulkes?
Because of yarmulkes. It's a very funny word. Very funny phrase.
Oh, God.
He's one of those little hats.
That's very funny.
So it's mistletoe, hanging mistletoe up on Christmas. Is that also?
A lot of Christmas, a lot of... So, okay, Jimmy, this rabbit hole we're going down right now. Christmas, right?
Pagan
Vikings
holiday.
were pagan.
Right.
Very pagan. Ritualistic sacrifice, forced sexual acts, and sacrifice, right? So they're killing their own, they're killing people, they're killing animals, they're rubbing blood on themselves, and they used mistletoe during the winter solstice times, and then they decorated trees, and they had Santa. As we learned from that movie, Bad Santa.
From Bad Santa.
Yes.
I was watching this movie, The Northman,
Yeah.
and there's a part in the movie, right, where they walk outside.
I still think you're saying Norseman with a weird accent.
Northman.
The Northman.
That's how a commando says it.
A commando.
No, they come outside and a couple of the dude's body parts have been cut up and he was like hung up like an ornament on the house. Like it's like a warning or whatever.
Was it in the form of the eagle, which is a very where they cut the ribs along the spine and flay it open?
No, it was like
eagle wings.
He like moved, like took a hand from here and placed it here. Like they look like a weird art thing on the wall.
It
was like two or three guys were cut up to make this thing.
Yeah.
And so they started freaking out, and the one of the Viking guys starts pushing the Christian slaves to the ground. He's like, "Was it you Christians? You dirty Christians!" And he's like throwing them around. He's blaming these Christian slaves. And one of the other Viking comes up. He said, "Do you think it could be one of the Christians? Their god that they pray to is a man nailed to a tree. These are savages. Could the Christians be responsible for
They're
this?"
savages.
So when the Vikings see Christian iconography, they see people worshiping a dead man who's been stabbed to a tree. So they think Christians are savage people.
Which is ironic, Jeremy, because we find out that the fall of Vikings is almost directly contributed to them adopting Christianity.
Right.
Yeah. So as they're doing their thing, Christianity's on the rise. More and more Vikings eventually convert, and then they kind of lose all of their values. They stop doing their rituals. They stop praying to these gods, and then it's just lost.
I mean, imagine being one of the very few last Vikings that are like, "No, I'm just
gonna be real mad, you guys."
Yeah, we need rain. I'm trying to kill this baby over here for rain. Like, guys, we're gonna starve to
You know
death.
it takes 3, right?
I only have one. Give me your baby.
It's just me, damn it. Me, Greg the Viking.
Yeah, come on, guys. Kurt.
I'm here too.
Hey, guys, I gotta sacrifice these babies. Oh, Frey's gonna be real bad.
But yeah, they started taking debilitating defeats. Their numbers start diminishing because the world around them is is transforming faster than they are with technology and things, and then again they just start going towards Christianity.
Well, didn't also something that attributed to their fall was the Christians did get together in England and start deporting all of the Vikings that had taken over.
Yeah, or converting them and then assimilating them.
Because the Vikings were coming over, and they'd go up to this village that were not warriors, and they go to the place with the pointy steeple. They go inside. There's all this gold and all of these things to take, and no one's fighting back.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Stab. They just get stabbed to death. So
wait,
basically,
no, light a candle.
to the Vikings, they just show up and take whatever they want with very little resistance. And then they started gaining ground, and different lords would actually give land to the Vikings to be like, hey, please stop killing us. Here's some land. We'll teach you how to farm the land. They had very fertile land to grow things. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, yeah, sure, give us land. And they'd get the land and they'd continue to raid and pillage till eventually the lords of England came together as one and started rooting out the Vikings and sending them back home.
Yep. So Denmark, Norway, Sweden, the Scandinavian islands, Greenland, all of these places, eventually fall to Christianity. They all convert.
The power of England.
Yes. They turn away from paganism and into the Christian faith. I just think it's so funny now to think about like that weird transitional period where you have Greg the Viking and he walks in with his big axe and he's just like, repent!
He died for your sins. In a mead hall.
You can't eat bacon anymore. I told you that.
No cheese on meat. It's Jewish laws.
Right. Obviously, typical Viking beverage was mead. They also enjoyed wine, and they would plunder it regularly from Europeans. The chieftains were sometimes buried with an actual longboat. We've seen that many times depicted on media and TV shows and movies. And the reason that they did that is so that way they could sail into the afterlife.
Just sail right into the mountain of Valhalla.
A frigga. That's Friday. Frigga's Day. Halls built by the Vikings were the largest structures built in Northern Europe during the Middle Ages. Icelandic poets were considered the most gifted, outshining all others.
Yeah, didn't they kind of like rap battle each other?
Yep, famously.
I think they did. They rap battled. They like diss each other through rhyme.
Oh.
It was like a game.
Jeremy Vikings.
They invented rap.
They started it all, and music.
Yeah, and music.
Oh, I thought this is very funny. So they used female labor servants and slaves to make woolen sails for their ships, which took thousands of hours to weave by hand for just one Viking ship. And I'm just like thinking, oh, we got wool. What's yours, a blend? Let me check the tag on that. Oh, polyester, gross.
What's nylon?
Polyurethane?
It's plastic. This won't do. There's not enough cat footsteps in this sail.
Where's all the bird spit?
What kind of boats did England have at this time?
Oh, in like the 700s to 1000 AD.
What kind of boats were they rocking compared to these Vikings?
They had very fast ships, right? Sails and they had oars. They could really boost that fucking thing. But also, they also invented some of the first like flank tactics with boats. Because their boats could get around things, and they would take out other boats. So people had boats, right?
Not everybody. Because not all civilizations are the same.
I'm sure galleons and shit existed.
Everyone didn't have boats, Mike.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of people still hitting each other in the head with rocks.
Okay, carracks, medieval ships, Iron Age boats. It's not describing any of them. Shipbuilding from 800 to 1800, Royal Museum of Greenwich. I guess they were Anglo-Saxon ships. Yeah, I mean they're not super fucking big, I guess.
Yeah, they also had what we would call a longship.
Yeah, Viking longships.
Yeah, it's basically what it's a long ship.
I think the Chinese had really crazy ships early. I think Chinese had really crazy ships early on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Who was superior at the time? China or Japan?
So
Which one was more?
Well, maybe I'm thinking of Japan because it's an island nation. So they probably had a more of a well, I don't know. You have more. Don't you have more coast on?
Well, yeah,
China.
China's right has a coast that they're looking right at.
Either way, let's consider that just a general area at the time. They had. Oh, what I wanted to say is like during civilization building, do you think they put more stats into shipbuilding?
Yeah, probably. There are. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. Like you're the boat nation. Like your realm is known for boats and only boats.
Was it the Iron Isles or something?
The Iron Isles. They had the octopus on there. Was it a squid or was it an octopus?
Like
on
a
their
kraken.
sails? Well, it might have been a kraken. Yeah.
It's more on par for scary.
Yeah.
we cuttlefish.
It's an amazing fish. They're so fast. They're very smart.
They change colors. They're adorable.
Oh, they're so cute. Cute cuttlefish.
It's our nation's bird.
It would be funny if they unfurl their sails as just a blown up pufferfish.
Right?
Just a defensive thing.
Yeah.
The symbol for your boat is defensive.
Here we come to hold you back.
We've made ourselves even more of a challenge to consume.
We consider it the Iron Dome.
Missiles.
Mistletoe.
Tiptoe.
Cat footsteps.
Steps.
Vikings.
Gaza.
Gaza. Oh. Obviously, a lot of sacrifices for animals during festivals. Horned helmets, Jeremy, not a thing for Vikings.
I heard that.
That was an opera show where they did that, most likely based on a ceremonial headdress that they found.
877 cash now.
That's right.
If you need your murder, you need cash now.
And according to Vikings, Jeremy, the world was created by Odin and his two brothers who committed a violent murder together of a giant being. So like his bones became the mountains, and his teeth became the rocks, and his flesh became the earth, and his blood became the water. And his brains, this is funny, his brains become the clouds, his head becomes the sky, and his eyelashes become all of human civilization.
What happened to all of his cum?
That's the mantle. His hot cum.
The tectonic plates.
The shifting sands of cum.
Speaking of shifting sands, didn't the Vikings made their way through the Middle East at some point, didn't they?
Everywhere, Jeremy.
They went to Baghdad?
They went to America, Jeremy. Vikings, some of the actual first Europeans to discover the New World.
Yeah, because there's this theory, like the natives...
That was currently inhabited by humans already.
There's some stories from indigenous Americans or whatever, the natives, about red-bearded giants, right? There's this whole community of conspiracy theories who believe the giants were real. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they point to is that the natives have stories of red-haired giants,
right,
that they had to fight off.
Mm-hmm.
It would make a lot of sense if that was just a group of Leif Erikson looking motherfuckers.
Yep. Well, the Vikings also had tales of giants.
Leif Erikson. That's a singer. Eric, yeah, whatever. Eric the Red.
I think Leif Erikson is a Viking.
Oh, wasn't he? I thought he was a singer from like the 90s.
No, I think you were right, Jeremy. Leif Erikson, yeah.
Look him up real quick.
I think he was in...
I was Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett?
Yeah, Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett looking motherfuckers.
The Viking. Leif Garrett. Yeah. So they probably came across these natives, but it's kind of hard to tell with natives, Mike, because all of their history is oral.
Yeah.
There's no written history.
Well, Beowulf. No, there is written history. That's how we know so much of what we know.
The natives.
Oh, the natives.
Yes, the indigenous of America.
Yes.
The tribes. They don't have written history. They only have oral history. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint what's actually true or not. Telephone game, right? So what becomes invaders from the north turn into red-haired giants
Right.
through story.
Right. Because the natives are shorter. Yeah. The Norsemen famously have to walk through the snow.
Yeah.
You need to be tall and strong. This is fascinating. So apparently during the 13th century, so a few hundred years kind of after the fall of the peak of Viking era, that's when many European authors started recording the myths, legends, and sagas of Viking culture. The most famous of which include the Poetic of Edda, the Nibelungenlied,
Perfect.
the Nibelungenlied, and the Volsunga saga.
I didn't know you could speak Norwegian.
Jeremy, I can.
I wear many hats.
This is so funny.
Many little hats.
This is like a list of Viking facts, right? It's Viking metal is a subgenre of heavy metal music
Oh. Vikings invented music.
that originated in the Scandinavian in the 1990s. Yeah, so Viking scholars, people who study Vikings, theorize that the word Viking originally meant pirate or seafaring raider,
Right.
as like a term by others
It's a job.
to apply to the Northmen.
Right. If you pulled up to, like, if you followed the raiders back to their homeland and you walked upon a village, you wouldn't say that all of these are Vikings. You'd be like, oh, these are Scandinavian people or whatever. These are people of the north. You wouldn't call them Vikings. When they're raiding you and taking your women and your gold, you get dirty Vikings. So it's like a pirate. It's like a job title almost.
Yeah. Did you know Vikings clean themselves like cats?
They lick each other?
No, themselves.
Really?
That's what Beowulf says.
Interesting.
If you read Beowulf,
I wonder if their tongues were different.
they had cilia on their tongues.
They did.
Famously.
Cilia?
Yep.
I know they etched their teeth.
They did, Jeremy. They did, and sometimes dyed those etches. And we don't really know why they did that. Most likely an intimidation tactic.
Sure.
Viking berserkers are a super big topic in Viking history. Like people who talk about Vikings, there's Viking berserkers, and those are gentlemen who were told to literally go out. They don't feel pain. They just run in, no armor, and just kill and kill and kill.
Because it's an intimidation tactic.
Yeah. And people are like, they're probably super high when they do it. They probably got loaded up on something, and then they just kind of run in. They get hit with arrows, and they don't stop. It's crazy.
Well, it's pretty convincing. It's a nation building tactic, right?
Mm-hmm.
To teach your people that the only way to get to heaven is to die in battle.
Right.
So you're gonna hunger for that.
But they also feared very much that their dead would come back to life. That's huge.
The Draugr.
The Draugr. That's right. And they did a lot of weird shit to try and make sure that dead people wouldn't get, which makes me think that they did have a big problem with that at one point. Why would you put so much time and effort and energy into doing all this shit if they weren't coming, fucking Greg.
Yeah.
Fucking Greg. We sent him out on the boat. He's back.
Hey, I'm Kurt.
Hey, it's me, Kurt. I'm not dead, I promise. He's back. He's dead. He's a Draugr.
Kurt's so annoying. That's why they do it, is because he's so annoying.
No, it's my genetics. I heal real fast, just in general.
Actually, it turns out moldy bread is really good for your wounds.
Right, I think I'm going to call a penicillin. Go, God!
No, please.
No, please don't tie my toes together. That's what they would do.
To stop them from coming.
When someone would die, they would tie their big toes together, and that would stop them.
I mean, maybe it did.
I don't know, Greg. We just kind of tie his toes together. He'll get tripped up, and we just kind of chop his head off, I guess.
Imagine it'd be hilarious. He's going to wake up from the dead. He can't walk. He's going to trip right there.
We'll giggle and laugh.
Now, in The Northman, which is based off of, it's a movie that's based off of an old Viking tale. He gets his magic sword or whatever he has to go find it, and it's in a crypt, and it's this big dead king, and he's holding the sword, and when he takes the sword or goes to reach for the sword, it stands up, and he now has to fight the Draugr. But it's really intense battle. Then when the Draugr steps into the sun, it kind of hurts him like a vampire would be hurt. And he eventually kills the Draugr. But as soon as he kills the Draugr, he snaps awake and he's standing in front of the dead king holding the sword again. So the Draugr came to life. It was almost like a vision. The Draugr never actually stood up and fought him. But he did have an actual fight with the Draugr in his head. Like, because he still was like sweaty and shit from the fight.
Yeah.
But it was all in his head.
Ah, it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Kill Kurt.
Kill Kurt. What we gotta
Kill
do?
Bill.
We gotta spin him around 3 times before we put him in the ground, so he gets confused as a ghost.
Put mistletoe in his eye sockets. He won't be able to see.
What a fun joke! They were super into battle magic, runes and putting shit and carving things into their weapons and bodies. They believe that the gods, they just wanted lots of blood sacrifices. When chieftains died, they would basically get his like slave woman super drunk.
Oh, right.
And then do brutal things to her and then kill her and then burn her along with the chieftains so she may help him out in the afterlife. No rest, Jeremy. No rest for ladies. That's horrible.
Well, I mean, what else is she gonna do? She's got to keep her chieftain happy,
Does she have to?
In the Northmen too, when one of the persons was dead and they were doing the funeral, they brought out a horse, like a pony, like a young.
Are these North super Thithin?
Yeah, these are Northmen super Thithin. They brought out a pony and then they cut the pony's head off, and then they poured the blood from the head into all over the guy's body.
Yeah,
and it was to give him a steed and speed to the afterlife.
Yeah.
They really were into blood of things.
Yeah, and there is a story involving a horse and Loki. He was really obsessed with this.
Is that how he made all those monster babies?
Well, Jeremy, it just continues. So Loki was really obsessed with this horse. I think it was Thor's horse. Somebody had a horse and he was like super in love with it.
I'm going to Ed Sheeran that horse.
He turned himself into a mare. And then went out into the woods and
he did.
fucked this horse.
Wait, no,
Loki got pregnant.
Yeah, he turned himself into the mare.
Yes.
So he didn't fuck the horse at all.
Nope. He allowed the horse to bed it in the woods.
And he allowed himself to be sodomized.
And he gave birth to the famous horse, the 8-legged horse that Odin rides.
How does that work?
Well, Odin has a millipede horse, and Loki gave birth to it.
I'm trying to picture how the legs would.
There's carvings.
Yeah, but it's not in action. Do they have little lines to show you in which direction, like the Swifty lines?
Well, the first two are like the first 2 legs are outstretched forward, like the horse is like doing a Superman pose.
Okay.
And then the 2 sets the 2 sets of 2 in the middle are kind of at like a canter, and then the back 2 legs are fully outstretched as well, as if jumping.
So maybe he only uses the other ones to jump?
Make lattes.
Yeah. Have sex with other horses.
Yule. That's the pagan Viking Christmas, right? That's what Christianity stole from the Vikings as they were trying to convert them and make them like Christianity more. That's one of the things that Christians kind of did to make Christianity more appealing to these Vikings and pagans, is to give them a holiday that they're already used to celebrating, Yule.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those elements kind of converged, right? So,
isn't it an interesting way?
Yule logs, Jeremy?
The way Christians converted all of these people, I find it so fascinating.
It is a long, storied history.
Like, there's other religions that it's convert or die. But for Christianity, it was like,
I'm going to tell you a story. Sit down.
You like decorating trees? We also decorate trees.
Yeah, so wreaths, Viking. Yule logs, Viking. One thing that didn't make it into Christmas was human sacrifice, which was huge during Yule.
That's a win.
So every ninth year, Swedish kings were expected to sacrifice men at the temple of Uppsala. The ritual required 9 human heads to be offered to the gods, with the bodies hung in the sacred grove. The Grim Festival lasted 9 days, with feasts and celebrations taking place alongside the executions.
Interesting. Smelly.
Yeah, so that didn't make Christmas. It's like, well, let's kind of meet in the middle here.
What about the 9 heads? Hey, what about the 9 heads?
How about we keep the tree thing?
But trees grow from blood.
Right? Blood that soaks the earth.
We're all just eyelashes.
We're all just eyelashes. Well, when you think about it, we're all just eyelashes.
Sometimes I wish I could be an eyelash.
I wonder if the eyelash thing, Make-A-Wish, was Norse, was Viking. Jeremy, we're finding out everything is Viking.
This table.
This table's Viking. That Jesus candle.
Hey, come over here. Join us.
Hey. I'm white.
I bought that Jesus candle for your bar because of the demon.
Yes.
On the demon head.
Which one?
That one.
Oh, yes. Yes, for the bottle cap opener.
Yeah, so now you have rosaries and a Jesus candle to fight the evil in this room.
Yep. Thank you, Jeremy.
I'm going to buy a bunch of those. They got like the Mary.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And all the different candles.
Yep.
They're only like $1.
Yeah, Mary. Who's another Christian god?
Joseph.
Mark. Steve.
Stephen, yeah.
We both said Steve.
Christmas Stephen.
Christmas Stevens out there eating babies.
Christmas Stephen does like the 9 heads.
Oh, yeah. Super into pagan.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Steven.
Maybe they're word Draugr. And we do have all these stories of all of these things all around the world.
And maybe the Vikings had an isolated incident in one part of the world and they just fucking dealt with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tied their toes together and turned them around 3 times before they put them in the ground, and that solved it. Boom, done.
But if we don't have 9 heads, all the bodies will come back to life.
We gotta do it every 9 years.
I don't want to see Jeff anymore. He keeps coming back. He doesn't have any toes to tie together. Is that a way you could escape that fate? What if you wanted to die and come back as a Draugr, so you cut your big toes off?
Jeremy, then you're coming back.
You're coming back.
You're gonna walk weird.
Yeah, everyone's
when you
gonna
come
see
back.
you coming. You can't run very fast. He runs all funny.
And he's dizzy. It's a twofer. And then he just fall into a random Viking fire, and it's just you're done.
He's all menacing, like and he fucking takes 1 step and trips, falls in a fire.
Bonfire.
Everyone starts drinking and partying.
He fell into the head fire.
Hey, does that count as a sacrifice?
He was willing.
But we got all these stories about like vampires and demons.
Yeah.
And they are oral traditions. So maybe they did come from somewhere, just like the red-haired giants.
Yep.
Do you think the Vikings were miserable in the Middle East? It was so hot.
It's so hot.
Like they loved England because England wasn't too hot.
Right.
It was like rainy and cloudy and stuff, but the land was really fertile. You could grow anything year round. So they were pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
And then they get to the Middle East, it's just all desert.
Oh, there's so much sand in my beard.
My eyes.
Did you know that like they loved the whole concept of like blonde hair? It was like super popular, and so the men would just they would just bleach their hair. They would take lye, and then they would make basically bleach and dye their hair blonde very regularly.
Is blonde not a natural
It is, but it was very sought after.
Oh, so it wasn't rare, but it was considered beautiful.
People who weren't blonde would make themselves blonde.
Kind of like people like Japanese. It's like the whiter, the prettier.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that why?
I mean, like skin?
Isn't that why like geishas are all painted up white and like?
Oh yeah.
Like small feet, white skin.
Yeah, all the anime girls.
I saw a theory recently that Someone asked, why do all anime characters look like Westerners?
Oh, I've seen how all anime characters look like cats.
Right, this is what I was getting to. They go, why do they all look like Westerners? And they go, they don't. They all look like cats.
Yeah.
Look at the side profile of all the
We're on the same
characters,
page.
yeah.
It's true. Absolutely 100%.
It's just because cats are cute.
Yep. Cats are adorable.
Interesting.
Yep. The Egyptians knew it.
Oh, did you see are you on that time we started an anime podcast, Discord?
Yeah.
Did you see the video I posted on there? I said,
No.
explain yourself, Japan. It was a scene in an anime where this girl's head was, her like eyelid was frozen to this, like the guy's belt or whatever.
That's weird.
Yeah, because they were all in the snow and he was like holding the coat over her to keep her warm. And they're like, all right, let's go. And she's like, I can't. And so he yells over to his buddy. He's like, hey, come over here. And he walks over, like, can you piss? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, can you piss right now? Like, do you have to pee? And he's like, sure. He's like, well, unstick her. So he just
Pee in
whips
her
it out,
eye?
and he like, so the scene goes here. Actually, I'll show you real quick. It's very funny. It's very funny.
Is this Viking?
I know. I'm sick, Mike.
It's okay. You're quite deranged.
I am very deranged right now. All right, check this out.
And you got the sniffles.
I do have the sniffles.
No, poor Jimmy got the sniffles. Oh, you remember that guy who I told you about? His name is Kvasir, and he got created by them spitting a bunch of berries to make alcohol, and he was born. Oh, Kurt. That's how Kurt was born.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that he died, so he goes up on these two dwarves. He tried to share his worldly knowledge with them. They killed him instead. The dwarves just killed him and drained his blood, and from that they created the special mead that made the drinker quite poetic.
Ah.
And this is supposed to be the birth of poetry. Was the death of Kvasir, who was like, "Hey man, I got a cool YouTube video to show you. You want to see it?" And they're like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I sent this to them. I said, explain yourself, Japan.
Oh, yep. Her eyelids stuck to his belt. Come here. Piss on her face. Can you piss? He's so, like, urgent about it.
What?
Stop it. Stop it. Oh, and now she's released. Oh, and, yep. He's super happy to be doing this guy. Oh, she's also happy about it now. Everyone's happy that this guy's pissing. Oh, my God. That's enough. That's enough. Are you crying? Oh, now he's peeing on the dude's face. What the fuck, dude?
I said, explain yourself, Japan.
What the fuck is that?
It's an anime.
Everyone's giggling as he's peeing on everybody.
This isn't even the worst. There was another clip from the same anime where they're like, it's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes investigation.
Uh-huh.
And so they're like looking for this killer. And all of a sudden you just like, it gets all cloudy and you see a guy and you just hear, and he's like, oh no. And he turns and looks at him and he's like, it's the killer. And then you hear more noises and it like pans out and there's like cloudy smoke around their genitals because they're fapping. It's a fat battle and they start like glowing purple. And then the one guy shoots and it's like all these little sperms with eyes
Oh my God.
are flying and he like does like a backflip and dodges them and then in the air shoots his at the other guy.
Oh my God.
It's from the same anime.
What the fuck is this?
And so I was reading about it and they're like, actually, you know, this is a bad representation. It's a very deep anime. It's very well done. It's a very good story. And I'm like, it can't be. There's no way it can be a really great story.
They ruined it for everybody.
Fat battles, Mike. You think the Vikings ever had a fat battle?
Epic fat battles from history.
Genghis Khan versus Alex
Jones.
or Maya Angelou.
Genghis Khan versus Alex Jones.
Nelson Mandela versus George Washington. Four scoring.
I never died. Well, okay, Jeremy, what's your hugest takeaway from Vikings? They had round shields.
They did have round shields.
Great artwork.
They were a little twisted
Yep.
back in the day. Thank God for Christianity.
Snuffing that out.
Yeah, they were a problem. They were a big problem.
Teacher, I don't want to participate. I'm Norse pagan, and it's head day today.
Hey, I don't think they should teach the 10 Commandments in school.
It's 9 head day today. I gotta go home.
I pledge allegiance to the heads. Thor's trans.
What?
We learned that.
Oh, because of the dress thing. Cross-dresser at best.
Loki is also trans species.
Yes, bestiality.
He likes it.
Big with Loki.
Loki was the original Mr. Hands.
He would fuck beasts and make beasts.
All the listeners, go ahead and look up that reference.
Well,
Mr.
I guess
Hands.
he's intersex because he got pregnant and gave birth.
He did. Well, yeah. There you go, trans community. The Loki's your guy.
Right?
Your girl, horse.
He's a man who could produce a baby.
Yep.
It was they were all horrible monstrosities. One was a giant wolf, one was a giant snake, one was a horse with 8 legs. Oh, and a half dead woman. Tell me how that works.
Wait,
I'll tell you.
Which half is dead?
The underside half, the legs.
So they're rotting?
Right, rotting legs. And that actually becomes that person, Loki's child, the half dead person. She becomes like an underworld god and kind of goes crazy and tyrannical in the underworld.
Was she born with her toes tied together?
I don't think so. But I just think it was funny. It was a giant snake, a giant wolf, and a half dead person. Half of their body was dead.
See, people, that's what happens when you get inseminated by a horse.
Oh, God. No, that wasn't from the horse impregnation.
Oh, yeah, sex with a dead person?
I don't know who he had sex with to make. Oh, it was a giant.
Ice giant?
Yeah, no, not ice giant, just a giant.
I thought they were ice giants.
Well, they were, maybe, but this was just a regular giant. Jeremy, this was a sand giant.
Oh, like David and Goliath?
It's a Florida giant.
Okay. This is a skunk ape.
Yeah, a skunk ape.
He's sex with a skunk ape?
But the Vikings, Jeremy, as we travel through the Viking Age, they've brought us many fun stories and myths and legends that we capitalize on today. And thank you, Vikings, for being so weird.
Yeah, thanks, Vikings.
We appreciate you. And we have been Michael and Jeremy Steal Your Podcast.
Jesus is Lord.
And
according
you can
to the Vikings.
Find us on all the things. Follow us on our socials. 5-star the episode. We
Christ
love getting those. That's one of the biggest ways to help. Is through those 5 stars. Shooting those over, we would really appreciate it.
Do you think Palestine would be doing better against Israel if they had an army of Vikings?
No, because they're not bulletproof.
They have mistletoe.
Killed Balder. We have a phone number. It's 903-287-0660. You can call that number, leave a text or a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. Join the conversation. Make a comment about a previous episode that you want known to the world. You have a hot take. You want to do a prank. You want to make fun of us. Whatever you want. It's an open mic for anyone to walk up to and say whatever they want. So
whatever you're listening to, whatever platform you're using right now, like and subscribe.
Comment.
YouTube's doing pretty good right now.
Oh yeah, we're doing great on YouTube. If you're joining us on YouTube, thank you and welcome to the MJSYPOD.
Yeah, I'd like to see those view numbers go up.
Yeah, watch us on there.
People see a video that's got like 80 views and they just go, "Yeah, it's probably not good." They just move on.
Yeah, we need to get those numbers up. Tell your friends and family and your grandma.
Your grandma would love it. Actually, part of our demographic is 65 plus.
Half dead people. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/MJSYPOD. We have additional content on there for your enjoyment. You've already gone through our whole backlog. Well, there's another one just waiting patiently for you that will get updated. I promise.
It's $3, please.
$3 a month. That's like a cup of coffee.
Help.
Us.
Help.
Now.
Hey, help these guys.
Kurt.
If our numbers...
I'm going to make napalm out of urine.
You know what? Our problem is we haven't sacrificed 9 heads.
Jeremy, we haven't. Shit. Oh,
that's how all the big YouTubers do.
Dang it. We got to get on that.
Yeah. So if you'd like to be one of our 9 sacrifices this year,
Call our number. Send us an email at UHJYEAH to nominate yourself a sacrifice. We'll play it on the show.
we'll play it on the show.
We love you guys. Jeremy, anything else?
No, I think that's it. I'm a sick boy.
Yeah, Jeremy's going to recoup, and we'll be back for you next week.
Sick boy that's got to fly away in a couple days.
Just take a longboat.
Do you think Vikings would have eventually invented airplanes?
In the weirdest way. In the weirdest way, Jeremy. We tied 75 birds together
The wings were made out of baby teeth.
and attached it to a chariot.
It's the spirit of the children's teeth that'll make it fly.
All of it's covered in blood. The blood's the most important part.
Can't fly without blood. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows. All right, away.
It works.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would figure it out in the weirdest fucking way possible.
Well, you see, it's fueled by Christian baby blood.
We had Kurt here breathe into a sack really hard. Anyway.
Landing gear's made out of big toes.
All right, Jeremy, I think that's it. All right, Jeremy, I love you.
I love you too. Peace.
Bye.
Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast. Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast. They like to get crazy, talk a lot of trash. Michael and Jeremy, steal your podcast.
All right, Jeremy, this is the last head.
Oh man, I didn't like doing this, but
It was rough to find. I mean, luckily everyone was sleeping.
they told me that all cultures are beautiful and
But
equal.
as far as I know, everyone's, super down for this is what I've read and understood. So
The trees won't grow and the sky won't cry if there's not 9 heads over here, Mike.
that's right. It's it's that time of the decade.
Everyone's going to be so happy when they wake up and realize we did all this work for them.
Oh, Jeremy, they're coming out. They're coming out to join us.
Here, hold the heads up so they can
Yep.
see.
Hey, see,
we got you.
Oh, they're yelling. Oh, wait, is that? Oh no, they're mad.
Oh, Mike, they're carrying crosses.
Oh no, Jeremy. Oh no, that one's got Jesus on the cross.
Oh, Mike, these guys have converted already.
Oh no, they have spears.
All right, Mike, we got to get out of
Oh,
here.
we were too late, Jeremy. Oh no, sorry.
Mike, grab all the heads. We're going to need those.
Okay, throw them into the boat.
Oh, God.
Jeremy, row.
No, you row.
Oh, fuck it. Yes, okay.
Oh, they're getting closer, Mike. You're just going in circles.
Well, Jeremy, we're not in the water yet, Jeremy. Signy, Loki, yeah. I have a lot to say about Loki, that little weird little bitch.